right, welcome to the Quest for Excellent podcast. My name is Jeff Montreal. I am your host, and I am joined today by Wanda de Vries, aka Wanda Dutchie. She is the co-owner of Costa Rica Focus.com. Wanda is a successful entrepreneur. She's living the laptop lifestyle, working in the travel and bird watching niche, and she's going to share her story and how she went from a young girl living in the cold of the Netherlands to the beaches of Costa Rica. So, Wanda, thank you so much for being here. I know we just had a little chat. We've talked recently, but I really appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I just want to talk a little bit about how we met. We both, and for anybody who's heard any of my other episodes, I want to make this clear. This isn't going to be a selling point for Entre and where me and Wanda came from, but it's worth mentioning because it's how we met.
Yeah.
We both are a part of an educational online platform called the Entre Institute. It's run by a gentleman named Jeff Lerner. And I believe the first time we crossed paths was on every Thursday. There's a group meeting in the elite group for Entre. And I think you noticed something I said or you commented, and then we just kind of connected from there. And you were very friendly. You asked some really good questions. I remember that. I went back and looked at our early conversation, and I could tell initially it wasn't a scam. You're not trying to sell me anything, and you really were trying to get some knowledge because you noticed what I was doing and all that. So yeah, that's how we met. And before we go into any of your professional life, anything to do with Entre or the success that you have had, I'd like to get to know you a little more, and I think the audience would too. And I feel like the more you dig into early life, where you came from, how you grew up, it really has a huge determination on where you end up, right? So if you want to talk for a couple minutes about, and again, I leave this up to my guests. You can go for half an hour or 5 minutes. Talk about your early life, brothers and sisters, how you grew up, your parents, schooling, anything you want to throw in there. I'd love to hear about it.
Okay, sure. Absolutely, Jeff. Well, I was actually born and raised in the Netherlands. And over there, I studied international business and tourism. And I actually told my parents from a very young age that I didn't want to stay in the Netherlands. And it's very funny because my dad is actually an engineer, and I always saw him go to the office, and I couldn't even possibly imagine myself having his life of going to the office every day. And of course, I didn't like the climate in the Netherlands. And I was always sort of dreaming of palm trees and sunshine. So I told them that I wanted to study something that allowed me to be abroad. So I did. My brother, he's 6 years older than me. He actually left to the United States for a while to study there. So my poor parents, both their children.
Oh no, lost both.
Yes.
Empty nest, huh?
But now my brother luckily is back in Holland, and my brother's a virologist actually. So he's very busy right now.
No, I'm sure. I was just going to say.
Right. But yeah, so I didn't want to settle for the 9-to-5 rat race type of lifestyle in Holland. So I actually made it my goal to live and work in as many different countries as possible. That was my original goal.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Absolutely.
About that? Because I love what you're saying so far. Just one, would you say, and you already kind of said it, but I'm curious if there was anything else, aside from you seeing the rat race your dad was in, the 9-to-5, and it sounds like it wasn't like he was a miserable person. He had accepted that as his life to support his family, and that's what he was going to do, right? But you knew you didn't want to do that. But was there anything else, maybe an influence from your brother and your relationship, because he started to have more of a living abroad or getting away from home kind of vibe early on?
Yeah.
Was it mainly your dad, or were there any other influences? And also, to add on to that, the whole palm trees, did you just want to be warm, or was there an influence for that also? So a movie you saw or something, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I know what you mean, but this is what happened. So in the beginning, when I was that young, it was literally watching my dad that I was like, oh, I don't want an office job. Then I combined that with the weather on TV. I saw places outside of Europe, far, far away, that were beautiful. But it was later on, Jeff, that because I still didn't understand the concept of the 9 to 5 red race, because I was absolutely raised as, you study, you get a good job, you buy a house, you get married, you have children. Like, for the longest time, I believed that was the way. I just didn't know any better. So
well, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault at all. And it's interesting that even when you were in the Netherlands, I'm across the world from you, right? Or I was when you were there. Well, I guess I still am, but it's the same vibe, and it makes sense in any economy in any country. Jeff posted earlier, I think either this morning or last night, one of his slides, and it's a new program he's doing. But companies need loyal employees, right? Like, their goal isn't to make you rich and give you time freedom and financial freedom. You can spread that to anything. Government needs loyal employees who pay taxes, all that. So we're not taught that stuff in school. It's just the way it is anywhere, because they want you to be a part of the system. So you realize at a very early age that was not going to be your game. And so I guess into the next part, because there's a lot I want to go over about how you got there and all that. Unless there's anything else from your childhood or anything from your formative years that you feel had a major impact, anything that happened in, like high school or when you were coming up, anything you think was worth mentioning around that time?
It's just, okay, I went to college, and I obviously thought that was extremely important. But then when I lived in 8 different countries is when I realized that was my true education, in dealing with different cultures. And, like, I had a way of communicating that did not work in all these countries. So I had to, adjust. And sometimes it was extremely hard that I even felt like I wanted to give up, but I couldn't. That was not an option. That's what my parents taught me in a very friendly way. My real education happened when I was living in all these different countries. And then my other education happened, Jeff, not that long ago, like 5 years ago, when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That opened my eyes. And then I knew, oh my gosh, there's this whole other world out there I didn't know of.
I wonder how many people that was their first book, because out of the bajillion podcasts I've been absorbing lately, and then even a few of my guests, that was their one. That was the first one they got into. And I gotta mention, I have 132 collegiate credit hours. I've been to a few different schools throughout the U.S., tech school and universities and all that. But in terms of education and what is transforming, giving me either the most value or the best perspective, I'm not going to go too much into this. I don't want to talk about myself that much. But when I was in junior high, like 14, 15 years old, I went to the Philippines. And mind you, I went to the Philippines. I say this sentence sometimes. People are like, nah, dude, you didn't do that. I was in the hot springs in the mountains of Malaysia when I was like 14 years old. It was incredible. But anyway, so when we got there, though, this is the moment I'm talking about. We're on the tour bus going into downtown in Manila. There's some good and bad areas like any other town. And we're in the bad area right now. And it's at that time, I'll never forget these images. I'm a young white suburban kid from the U.S. I don't know crap about anything, nothing. I'm, even if I wasn't rich or whatever, I'm more privileged than most people on the earth. So we're riding down this road, and there's literally a river of feces and mass. It's gross. And we come up to where, it's getting a little bit nicer. We're getting to our hotel, and our guys, I'll never forget him, even the way he sounded. He's like, look, guys, as much as you might want to give something to someone or give to a needy person, just don't do it. You're going to get tracked. They're going to follow you / us. Just trust me. Put your heart away for a minute. It's going to get you in trouble. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not kidding. I can see this like a movie in my head. I'm stepping down the bus steps, and the door opens. I'm one of the first ones. And there's a young kid leaning on a wall in front of me. He was maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old, and limped over towards me and our bus with his hands out, and he was obviously like injured, something wrong with his leg. I don't know, but that changed me more than anything that's ever happened in my entire life. And you can't read that in a book. A professor can't relay that to you. You can't pay for that. I'm not talking about the plane trip to get over there. Those moments, and I'm assuming like you, traveling to, and I want to hear what countries if you don't mind, but dealing with different cultures, different people, the way people react to you being, this good-looking Dutch woman traveling the world. I wonder how that would have been. It's just, so if you want to talk about that for a minute, and then I want to go into how you started the travel career and the bird watching niche, which I'm still freaking fascinated about. But if you want to talk about the early journeys and what countries you went to and kind of what you picked up as an overall arc from that, I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love your story, by the way. And I love that you had that experience at such a young age, at 14, right? Like the sooner the better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it changed my whole life. I would have been even more of a spoiled brat than I was. So go ahead.
So out of all the countries that I actually lived at, I've traveled to many. I believe a little over 40 countries, but it's when you actually live and work in a country, that's where you get the real gist of it all.
Like I've been to Hawaii, but that was for a layover for an hour. I have not been to Hawaii, but I'll tell you I've been to Hawaii because I've been there, right? Anyway, carry on. Sorry to interrupt you.
So it all started with a couple of countries within Europe, actually. So I lived in France, in Spain, in Germany, and Italy. And for example, you would say that Germany, being my neighbor, would be the easiest place to live. However, that was the first country I moved to. And that's what I thought too. Like, it's going to all be so similar culture. Oh, no. It really wasn't.
No, really,
it really wasn't.
Interesting.
It's just,
was it more like a rivals kind of deal, or just what was the problem?
It wasn't a problem. I actually had a wonderful time, and I met so many people, and I still have friendships. It was absolutely wonderful. It's just like the work culture in Germany, it was just different from what I was used to. It is far more strict and far more, there's this hierarchy that is, it's strict, and I had to adjust. And of course, I'm speaking in German, so there's always a little bit of lost in translation there. It was, and of course, you have to keep their history in mind as well, because I was friends with both people from Eastern Germany and West Germany, and I could sense that their history, people my age back then, was early 20s, were still very much there, whereas for me, obviously it wasn't. It was a thing in the past. But so that was very interesting. But then,
where did you live in Italy? Because I've been to Italy and France. I was in Venice and Florence and Assisi. It was a great trip. Where'd you live there? I'm curious.
In a beach town called Rimini. Yeah,
I know Rimini. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I was on that trip, but I've heard that name before.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, that was very different as well. In Germany, I was a bit longer than in Italy, and then after Germany, I went to France. That was an interesting phase in my life, because I actually got a back injury there, so I had to deal with their healthcare system, which was very challenging.
Interesting.
Yes.
I see.
But the real lessons I learned, Jeff, was when I moved outside of Europe, and I moved to South America, to a country called Suriname. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Most people aren't.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It actually, it actually borders on the south with Brazil, and then it lays in between Guyana and French Guyana, and it used to be a colony of the Netherlands.
Two quick questions for you, and then pick up right where you were. Well, really one, and then this, what you're going to say. How did you support yourself during your travels, during these, going to all these different countries? Were you in one specific job? Did you work whatever you could find wherever you went? What was the track there?
That's a good question. I actually found a job before I went to each country. So I always had my resume online. If I knew back in the day what I know now, I had done it differently, but it doesn't matter. It was part of my learning experience. But I always found a job prior to going. And when actually the job I got in Costa Rica, I was offered that job while I was living in Suriname. My resume was online, and somebody approached me and said,
Nice.
"Hey, do you want to move to Costa Rica?"
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
and I was like, "Oh, okay, when?" And he said, "Well,
Yeah,
when
can I
can
go
you
right
be
now?
here?"
Or
And I said, "Give me 2 days."
yeah, that's amazing. That's wild that I would have assumed, because that was going to be one of my later questions. Why Costa Rica? The universe
Oh
said Costa
yeah,
Rica.
it
Was it
wasn't
you, right?
me. And of course, I
Interesting.
had heard about Costa Rica. You picture like paradise pretty much. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was like, well, actually, it wasn't 2 days. I had to fly home first to my family. I was 2 days in the Netherlands, and
Hmm.
then I flew to Costa Rica.
Couple questions about that, and I did a little digging on you. I think you'd pronounce it Neela. Was Neela with you for that whole journey, or did you get Neela, your dog,
Yeah,
in Costa
yeah,
Rica?
no, she is actually Tika. That's what you call Costa Ricans, and she's a girl. So she's Tika. I actually adopted her or rescued her here in Costa Rica.
Gotcha. I wonder how did you travel across the across the world with
I
interesting with a dog
know.
like that. So that's okay, cool. Now, because this is perfect. We're kind of where I wanted to go. So at this point, you've already, and my initial question was going to be talk about some of the difficulties in moving, but you've already dealt with that a
Yes.
bunch of times. Both learning a new culture, getting a job, getting used to the people that you work with and the staff there, and vibing with them and different personalities, plus all the culture differences. So it sounds like you were good to go with moving. It's amazing. You got a very much kind of a
Yeah.
wandering soul. So then think. I want to skip that initial question then. So when you're in Costa Rica, and prior also, all the jobs before that, were any of them in the international business and tourism sector, or was it whatever you could find or
All
whatever
of
looked good
them.
to you, depending on the
All of
country?
them were in the
Oh,
tourism
okay, okay,
industry because, yeah, that's where
gotcha.
my passion lays, and that was
Love
specifically
it.
what I wanted, and I would not make an exception for any other job.
Understood. And Costa Rica was the same thing. That job
Yep,
offer was in the
yep,
same industry.
absolutely.
Cool. Okay. So I guess from there then, begin in Costa Rica, talk about your business, the Costa Rica Focus.com. You can or you don't have to if you'd like, whatever, talk about your partner. But and then into that, any early difficulties you had really kind of getting your footprint there for anybody who, because let's be real, you really are. And we'll talk about how COVID and the pandemic has affected your business in a minute here, but you really are living the laptop lifestyle on a friggin' beach in Costa Rica. You are like an Instagram post or a Facebook feed image, literally. I'm not kidding. There's one of you that we were laying by your pool or something with the trees in the background. And that could have been, on a tourism brochure or something. It's exactly what people picture when they're thinking about this. So if you could talk about the ramp up to your success with that, how well kind of this industry has been for you, why you're so passionate about it, and then how
Yep.
COVID kind of took a kibosh and a hatchet to your
Okay,
cash flow.
yes, for sure. Well, it all started with my very first job here in Costa Rica. So I was actually hired to be a travel consultant, and the goal
Mm-hmm.
was to bring people mainly from Canada and the United States to Costa Rica to enjoy a vacation. And part of that
Mm-hmm.
job was to stay at the hotels, do the activities, eat the food. So I was able to explain to my clients what I was offering them. So that was a huge perk of the job. And I was doing this with a
Yeah, yeah.
team of my, colleagues. It wasn't a small company. So I had a bunch of colleagues, and we were just traveling all over Costa Rica, trying out the hotels and doing all the activities. So this allowed me to really get to know Costa Rica really well. And I loved this company. It was a great work environment. All my friends, I met them there. And eventually I actually got promoted a couple of times, and eventually I was a sales team manager. And so,
Nice.
but then 12 years passed, And eventually I got like, like I had read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, yeah, so I've been working so hard with so much passion, but I've been doing it for somebody else. I've been working on somebody else's goals, Jeff, and I wanted to work on mine.
Well, if I was going to mention this in a minute, but I'm going to say it now because it's a perfect little segue. For everybody listening, you're hearing from a woman who realized very young that they do not want to do the rat race, and she did not. You're listening to someone who not only decided that, but took action and found success, was able to travel the world, ended up getting from someone else reaching out to her based on all of her hard work and her travels through work in Costa Rica, right? And even with all that being true, it wasn't like you spent 30 years in the corporate rat race, but you're kind of doing your own thing. It wasn't your own business, right? But it was your passion. Even with someone who is able to do that, you have to keep your mind open and look further down into your future, because look what happened to you when COVID hit. The tourism industry got absolutely obliterated, right? And it had nothing to do with your control. And even if this would have been your business, your one business, right? You would have been affected the same way. So working for someone else sucks, yes, but you got to be diversified and have different avenues of making money, or at least getting them going now, so you're not stuck with one income or one thing. So yeah, if you want to take over and talk about how it's affected you, I think that'd be really valuable.
Absolutely, because that was a big chapter in my life, a big realization, because when I started my own travel company together with my dear friend, we actually got very successful very quickly. So we were on top of the mountain, Jeff. We were like, woohoo! It was amazing. So we started over 2 years ago, and then March was for us the first month where we received all the cancellations. There we were, completely dependent on that income stream. And I remember putting my hands in my hair. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And keep in mind, Jeff, I studied tourism, and the only jobs my entire life I've had were in tourism. So I was like, okay, I gotta pivot, but what do I do? So that was a difficult time, but luckily it didn't take me long. I knew I wanted to, I wanted to have another online business, right? Because having an online business gives me, the laptop lifestyle. It gives me all the flexibility I've been used to in my life. So I knew it had to be something online. And I actually had a friend here in Costa Rica that had an online business in teaching other people how to create an online business. And she was using affiliate marketing, leveraging social media. And so I was all ears, even though, Jeff, it scared me so much because I had no idea of, when she was talking to me, I was like, what is she talking about? Will I be able to understand this? But I felt like I had to, and I was determined. I learned my lesson: never ever depend on one income stream. And so, I followed it. I signed up, and immediately I was welcomed by a like-minded community. And that is so nice, Jeff. That is so important. People that support you and understand you, and some of them go through the same things you're going through. And so the training was actually, I wouldn't want to say it is easy, but they take you step by step. So it's easy to follow. It's not easy as in, it's hard because you have to do the work, right? You have to be consistent and you have to follow the process. And but I'm just so grateful. And I'm also grateful that even though Costa Rica focus right now is a little bit asleep, right? It allows me, it frees up time that I usually don't have to educate myself in this completely new industry, right? And it's perfect because I know sales. I my entire life have been in sales, but marketing to me was like, how to create a lead, or how to attract leads, I should say. That was a mystery. So, but imagine knowing both, like how to create leads and how to actually sell them. Yeah, that could be I think that is a very powerful combination.
Now you were talking about, I just want to make sure for myself and the audience, the program you were just talking about, was that Entre or something else that you did before?
It was something else that I did before that I started in,
Gotcha.
I want to say the end of April. But the friend that I'm talking about, as all do in our business, we have several offers, right? But it is Entre's training that I was just describing that takes you step by step. Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha. Understood. That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure, because I know now you're in Entre and you're actively involved with that. And look, I hope everybody just kind of heard what she said, because and this is an important point. I don't want to say everybody, but most working people, right, this year were put in a position like they never thought possible. There's no one in December who is like, this is how my New Year is going to go, right? It might have affected some New Year's resolutions. But anyway, so anybody who was affected by this, we're all going to be in the same boat, right? If you have not either been a go-getter, someone who's passionate about learning, who has a passion they've followed, if you just kind of been humdrum going along, that feeling you had of, oh shit, I don't know these skills, I don't know if I can do this, that's going to keep so many people either in a bad position or way worse off than they were after this happened. And there are going to be a lot of people, not a huge percentage of the world, but a lot of people are going to come out of this on top, because they see this as an opportunity and they don't get stuck in where they made mistakes over the past, year or 50 years. So I'm right with you with that. And I appreciate you saying that, how you did. And I just want to talk about Entre for a little bit here, and then, some of your future plans and what you want to do, and, any huge or long-term goals you have for the rest of your life. But at least for Entre, we both are, and let me back up a little bit. For anybody hearing this, or any new entrepreneurs or people who have no idea, one big aspect of online marketing world is affiliate marketing. And it's as simple as this. I'll give you the simplest example possible. Amazon is the largest affiliate company in the world. You sign up to be an Amazon associate, or I forget the exact name, but you're an affiliate for Amazon. You take links from their products, sell them in your digital real estate, and you make money off of that. That idea is a huge portion of online sales. A lot of people don't realize it, but so affiliate marketing is very simply selling other people's stuff, right? And it doesn't just mean selling someone a phone case or some cheesy glasses or a t-shirt. It could also be digital products, courses, ways to learn things. Think if Fiverr or Udemy, places where you can, learn from people or commission them to do things. But so affiliate marketing is huge, and Wanda and myself are both, at least for this portion of our entrepreneurial career, I know at least for me, and we've already talked about this, so I know you too, promoting Entre and what it's done for us and the possibility that it has for the rest of the world, for people who are in this kind of COVID boat or not, or have just been sick of where they are in their life and they want to make a change. This is the exact kind of thing. It's not get rich quick. It's not 5 ways to be a bajillionaire. It's not all the answers and one thing to do. It is a life-changing, foundational repouring, completely altering mindset kind of experience. It isn't, sign up for a 5-day challenge and you got the answer. It's nothing like that. And I think you understand that. So if you want to talk a little bit about what it's done for you, I know recently, and I'm going to be fully transparent, you were wondering if this is not a good thing to talk about. I think it is, and I'm so friggin' excited for you, but you already had your first sale as an affiliate for Entre, and that was within the past 24 hours of this episode. That's amazing. And just like you've heard, and I'll tell you if you haven't, if you can make $1 online, you can make $1,000 online, and so on and so on and so on. So you just popped the cork. Congratulations. So if you want to talk about before that moment, up until when you found Entre and what it's done for you, I think that will provide a ton of value for people.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I think an important point to mention, Jeff, is the fact that 7 months ago, I didn't even know what affiliate marketing is. Absolutely clueless.
Nice.
Now, now I'm making sales from it. And what's important to me, though, is that, in the beginning, I wasn't, even when I was, they explained to me what affiliate marketing is, I still couldn't find my groove in it, because I can only promote what I'm passionate about. And so the whole Amazon thing and products on Amazon, I was sort of like, I don't know about this, you guys.
No. Yeah, I feel you. It feels a bit icky, huh? I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad at all, and I might do it one day, but I understand what you're saying. I get
passionate about it, and I love to do something I'm passionate about. So as I'm doing this course, that I absolutely love, because it all started with mindset, as you know, Jeff. And what I like about this course, it doesn't teach you about affiliate marketing. It teaches you how to be an online entrepreneur, how to start an online business, and it's like super well-rounded. So you go through this boot camp, what they call it, and so you're being held hands by a coach, and every training you do, like, you get some homework you need to fill out, and then you need to sign up for your next call with your coach. I personally love that. I need direction if I am in an area where I don't know anything about. I love direction. And I also believe this is where they make it very clear that you, like the trainee, the person trying to make it all happen, you need to do the work, right? Because I can tell what happens a lot, Jeff, is that people give up. Like there's a lot of people out there. They're just they want instant gratification. I bought this course, now show me the money, right? No, this is a course that this is education that teaches you something, and that takes time. And if you just follow the steps and you do all the work, then you get look at me now, then you get the results.
I think another thing too that prevents people sometimes, I've seen this firsthand multiple times with some people in our group, but they come equipped with their ego, like some kind of weapon. And the moment that someone made a comment one time like, oh, Jeff always talks about himself. Well, when he's going through training, kind of gets some credibility, and he can reference major points in his life that can help you. Of course he's going to talk about himself. I want to hear more about him. So if you're not ready and open, and your ego is up front with that, you got to put that shit away. It's not good for anybody. But no, I think you're totally right, though. People just get dismayed and they give up. And 95% of people that go through this, I'm just guessing, are not going to get anything out of it long term. And let me make one thing clear. This is not mentioned enough, and it wasn't like we were not told this. I recognize what was going on. I've been around the internet for a while, but these programs, you could go online right now and go on YouTube and learn how to make money online. No problem. And you could probably do very well and make millions. But if you want to change yourself at your core, right? Jeff talks about the professional, personal, and physical parts of your life. If you want to get those right, you have to spend some money to learn from someone. People who are making millions online right now still spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to go learn at a seminar. People who are even wealthy still, you have to spend money. My point was, you can get something out of this for free with the Millionaire Shortcut that Wanda has a link to, we'll talk about later. And anybody who's promoting Entre, it's pretty much the same thing depending on where you get it from. And that goes all the way through to very expensive personal coaching. And there are levels in between. If you don't understand that, it's not free. Nothing is free in this world. And if it is, they're selling you something else.
People are willing to pay for college.
So, awesome.
But then later down the line,
right.
I don't know. I guess a lot of them think that's where the education ends. So I'm not sure. But you also have to see it as what is the return of investment going to be in the longer scheme of time, right? Because I know I have my goals.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'll be making, because if you set a goal, you aim for it and you don't stop. So what I invested in this course is going to be so small compared to what my monthly income is.
Yeah, right. And even if you're doing okay, I'm not saying you can be a bajillionaire if you want to. I'm just saying, even if your goal is to just like maybe barely make six figures, and that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do, you have an opportunity to do that. And I think there's a difference between, and I'm going to reference something Jeff says, and it's a different kind of person or way that you look at this. There's entrepreneurship, right? Dive in online, look for some products, set up a site, get your AWeber going, get an email list, fill it up, try to sell stuff forever, good to go, right? That's one way people see it. That's kind of entrepreneurship. But Jeff teaches entrepreneurialism, and that's a way of being, right? It's the way you carry yourself in the world. It's not just your monetary ROI. It's what you're getting and giving out from people as well. That's what drew me to Jeff. That's why Entre is so great. And anybody listening, I say go check it out. Even if you do it on your own and don't have anything to do with me and Wanda, and you don't, nothing to do with affiliate work, nothing like that. If you want to have your life changed, and it's drastically changed my life. I've quit smoking after 20 years, among a bunch of other stuff. My whole fitness and my whole daily routine has been like forever altered. And this is coming from somebody who was in the military and all that stuff. It's just drastically changed my life. So anyway, it's obvious that it's had a big impact on both of us. You've had a pretty damn cool life so far. It sounds like, most people, when they hear success stories, people who are living the laptop lifestyle, they're maybe expecting to hear some kind of horror story when they were younger. You just knew from when you were a kid, you didn't want to freeze your butt off. You wanted to live somewhere warm, and you wanted to have control of your life. And that's literally what you've done. So it's possible, guys. This is not something that, even without being a millionaire entrepreneur, you can do what you want to do in this world. Just decide that, take steps every day to do that, and you can get there. It's literally that simple. I don't care what anybody else says. That's a truth. I
agree.
Put that in the bank.
I also understand, I understand what people are thinking. They're so trapped in their little cycle, right, of everyday life. But you can create, you can control your own time freedom. Some people think it's some far-fetched idea, but it's actually a reality, that just by, like in this case, just by signing up and doing a training and doing this course that opens your mindset, and you can create, your time freedom. Everybody wants to spend more time doing what they love, whatever hobby they're into, or spend time raising their kids, right? More time is what we want, because time is the only thing, once it's spent, it's spent. We can't get it back. We can't save time. So if you want to control your time, open up your mind. And just by reading Jeff's book will give you, a little bit enough an idea of what's possible. But I always say, Jeff, like what do people have to lose by just trying it?
Right. Well, it's nothing. You're not going to hurt yourself. You're going to learn something, and look what it's done for people like me and you, who've had some success in life. It's not like it was, we were completely rock bottom and had done nothing in our lives. So that's awesome. And I want to add it to that. People talk about time is money. That's garbage. And there's a reason why. That I just thought about this a second ago. Not that it's some revolutionary new idea, but just for my little brain. You think about like energy and the transfer of energy, or you can't create new energy out of nothing, right? That whole idea. Well, that's not exactly true, which is why it's so hard for people to understand with what we're talking about. You can trade in your time to get more time. You can spend 40-hour work week, and that's taken out of your week to spend with your family, or morph that eventually into a 4 or 5 hour work week where your time is exponentially more available. You created more time. And the people don't think like that. They think I have to go clock in my hourly wage is what I'm worth. That is such nonsense. And I've talked about it in prior episodes, and now I know it is. This is one of my missions, to get people to realize that, look, if you want to be a doctor, awesome. Spend your 1.5 million, spend 12 years in school, do surgery on me. I need you. I love you. Thank you. But for the rest of us, There's another way to live, right? And it doesn't have to be in what your parents think you should do, or what the government wants you to do, or what, they want you to become a future donor for their college to keep them going. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Wanda's proof. We're both going to be big time future proof. I can already tell that. Just amazing.
I just
Go ahead.
love
I'm sorry.
Everything you're saying, because it's almost a little bit frustrating. Like, we want to scream to the world, like open your eyes, because mine were closed. Like, even though, sure, at least I got out of the Netherlands, but I was still stuck in a 9-to-5 cycle working for somebody else. At least I did it from the top.
Yeah.
But, like, I still, like, oh, how many vacation days do I got? Yeah. And it's scary to go after something that is so not natural. And then it comes a matter of surround yourself with people that have done it, and read personal development books, and go on YouTube and, just type in Jeff Lerner, because the more you hear it, the more you think. Now I'm thinking like, oh gosh, I was so silly for just going with the masses. Like, and I get excited. I want to tell people about it. Like, if you look at all my friends and everybody that I encounter, I tell them about it. I have to say though, Jeff, I do have an advantage, and that is that my partner, he's actually from Costa Rica, so I met him here. He's an entrepreneur, and so are his brothers. So it is very helpful to have somebody that close to you being a good influence on you.
Oh, yes. And I'm not going to go into this at all, Wanda, but it's fortuitous and interesting that you're saying that, because I'm dealing with something like that big time, and it's actually working out positively. But that concept, which I got to tell you, that's probably, you hear the old cliche, and if you've been in the entrepreneur world, you're the result or the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So be careful about who you spend your time with, right? That has been so glaring to me, and actually attacking that in the right way, like going about it the right way, not just shutting a door in someone's face, has done so much for me in my development. Honestly, now that we're talking about this, I think it's really been the reason why I have no more fear, and I don't give a crap what anybody thinks about me anymore. Because that's really, you can be tied to that, whether it's a parent or a sibling or a loved one or whatever, addiction, whatever it might be. If you can, and it's interesting because it's kind of something you just said. A lot of people, when they realize what you just mentioned about, even though you've had a cool life and done some stuff, but you get to a point where you're like, damn, I've been doing this wrong. Some people feel that like shame, and they can't face it, so they just stay in their hole, right? They might peek out and look out of the out of their hole, and then go right back inside. So you got to just be courageous enough to get out of there. It's going to be scary. You're going to be exposed, but would you rather do what you're doing and live the rest of your life for 40, 50, 60 years grinding away to maybe have retirement?
Absolutely.
I'd say go the other way,
Like, I get the fear. We all have our fears, right? But I think what people don't realize is, like, what are you going to give up, or what will it cost you if you don't move forward with whatever it is that you would like to do, right? Then nothing changes, and nothing will improve, and then you get that ugly feeling that, like, in your tummy, that you're not satisfied with your life. But on paper, it seems like an okay life, and you should be okay with it, but the feeling shows you something's not right. So those people, they need to overcome. If they could just take the first step, that's all they need to do, the first step. And it's all about overcoming your fears. I mean, Jeff, you know what my biggest fear is, and has been my entire life? Public speaking.
I'm so curious. I had a feeling. Well, let me ask you, was it nerve-wracking to get on a talk with me? The first time we did it, like a video chat?
No, that's totally fine, because that's just you and me. I'm a social person, and I like to talk. Gotcha. But not if there's a really big audience. So, for example, I have a YouTube channel. When I had to do those first, or I didn't have to, I wanted to, as part of me pivoting and trying
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
a new
yeah.
income stream, obviously you're going to be put in the non-comfort zone. That's the only way to grow, right? So the moment like the
Yeah, yeah.
camera rolls, like I had this frog in my throat, and like I get a little bit red, and the moment you notice that that's happening, you get even more nervous. But I had to just do it, and I
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
go with it, because else I had to take like 20 takes to do one video, right? And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Great. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. I was
no,
going to say, you took
that's
imperfect action.
okay.
You knew it was going to be scary. You probably were crapping yourself. You just did it, man. And people were so afraid to do that and it's funny. Somebody commented, and I agree. The first like 15 seconds, you were so puckered up and weren't really smiling. You could tell. But then eventually you loosened up. You had a beautiful smile on your face, and it was awesome. And the message, even in the beginning, was better. But even think about that, in one video, not over a year, in one video, you went from being super nervous to being even more effective. It took you just 15, 20 minutes, right? It wasn't, however the hell long it was. Like, people don't understand that. When you take that, and fear is garbage. 99.9% of fear never comes true. It's garbage. It's a warped survival thing that we've completely used wrong and don't even understand it now. Most people don't. So you're right. Fear is number one. You gotta just do the damn thing. And because the number one regret on people's deathbeds is, I regret that I didn't do that thing. It's not that they regretted doing stuff. It's always, I didn't actually do what I wanted to do. So if that's not reason enough to at least listen to what we're saying, and let me, for everybody listening, just think about what just happened with Wanda and her experience. If you're just starting this entrepreneurial journey and you're not sure, or you're having no results, or you're really like literally just getting started, you went from a young girl in the Netherlands, wanting to get the hell out of there, not want to do 9 to 5, found some success with your degree. You love doing it. You like traveling. You like travel. You like telling people about travel. It became your life. You were doing well, doing very well, found a great job. Actually, it found you, right? Doing even better in your life there. You know, great partner, business going well, and then boom, COVID, right? You made a video that you were scared to do. And this is the part I want people to hear. You made a video on YouTube. Anybody on the planet can make a YouTube video. There are 5-year-olds that are millionaires on YouTube. You made a YouTube video. You put a link to something you're passionate about, and you made a sale off it. People, there's two things I want to say about that. One, people see that as like greasy, scammy stuff. No, if you're passionate about it, and it could do for someone like me, even just quitting smoking after 20 years, it means something, right? There's value in it. So that's one side of it. And then you weren't sure what the hell you were doing a month ago. You didn't even know what affiliate marketing is. You just decided to do it. And look what happened. It's been a couple of days since that came out. Your journey's already begun. I'd say you're good. You got your golden ticket. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting out content. And you guys, anybody, you can do the same thing. I don't care what you're into. Woodworking, video games, travel, insects. I don't care. You can find a way to turn that into something you can do that actually will sustain your life. It isn't just a 9 to 5. So look, we're coming up. I want to try to keep these around an hour. And this has been great so far. And we can talk as long as you'd like, but I want to respect your time and what we talked about beforehand. So before we get into where people can find you, and which I'll post all links to all your stuff in the show notes. But if you want to spend a couple of minutes talking about, I guess, how you see this new impact, the Entre influence affecting you long term, and then where you want to be in 10, 15 years. What do you want this to really do for you?
Well, Jeff, I'm actually hoping that my goals will happen a little bit sooner than that. But my goal is eventually, so Costa Rica Focus is my partner, my business partner / friend, and my baby, right? First online business together.
Yeah.
My goal is, and this is what is really great about Entre as well, because it's not just helping me with affiliate marketing, it is giving me so much advice on how to improve my business, my Costa Rica Focus business. So I want to grow it, automate it, and have it run by other people. together with my new affiliate business, because the ultimate goal is to have complete financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And for my partner and I, for him and I, we want 3 months out of the year to just travel around, like literally just travel, nothing else, from one country to another. And if I want to visit my family in the Netherlands, let's do that. And then the rest of the months be here in Costa Rica headquarters, but living the life. I know that my partner is interested eventually in coaching because he wants to spread the world. I actually might be one day interested in buying a hotel. Yeah. But the idea,
nice. There you go.
The biggest 3 goals is financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom.
Mm-hmm. And those on the base level really are what everybody wants. And if you don't, something's wrong with you. If you care about your life and you want to be happy, which is kind of a woo-woo word, but if you want to find fulfillment in your life, you need to have those 3 things. And I want to add to that too. It's kind of I don't remember where I heard this. This isn't from me, but if you can have something to do that you're passionate about, something to look forward to, and something to love or someone to love, you're good to go. Right. And what you just said allows you the opportunity to really focus on those things. You can't look forward to doing something when you got to go to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 every day, do the same thing. It's kind of hard to have. So you really got to figure out a way to get those 3 things. You know, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? What do you want to look forward to? Take steps to do that, and then find something to love. And that might be a thing or a education program or a path you're on, or it could be a partner. Doesn't always have to be. But yeah, no, I love that. That's fantastic. I like the hotel thing. I could see you doing that. I literally saw you in front, looking great, owning the place, running it, looking beautiful, the coconuts and the palm trees. I saw it. I really did. Excellent. That was great. You took me right there. That was awesome. So look, I want to take the next couple of minutes and you could say them here, but again, I'm going to put them all below in the notes. But where can people find you? If you're comfortable with all social media, whatever, you can go ahead and say that. And if they want to connect with you more or learn more about your business, your recent successes with the affiliate marketing, or just talk to you in general. The floor is yours. So whatever you want to put out there, it's up to you.
So the first thing I want to mention, of course, definitely is the travel company Costa Rica Focus.com. That's our website. Costa Rica Focus is on social media. And then there's Wanda the Traveling Dutchie. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel. But my YouTube channel, Jeff, is still so new that I'm not allowed to give it a custom name. So I need more subscribers, you guys. I need help. So maybe Jeff can put the link below and you guys can subscribe.
I will. And this is interesting. I think about this sometimes. In the very beginning of this training, it was kind of a hard thing to swallow, but now I understand completely. But we're all kind of doing the same thing, especially people like me and you. Some people will get this course, want to do affiliate marketing, and then start selling crap all over the world, in different places, different businesses, Amazon and, Shopify, e-commerce stuff. But people like us, who, at least in the beginning here, different career paths prior, but at least for us to build steam, we're going to be doing the same thing. I love that. It's a huge world out there. There might be somebody that want to listen to me and not you, and vice versa. So we can share each other. I can send people your way and vice versa, because I'm doing kind of a totally different kind of thing. It's great. I'm excited to send people your way and have a good relationship. And I really, honestly, I really mean this. I'm not saying this because you're a guest, and I got to know you a little bit here and offline talking a bit, but I guarantee you're going to kill it. But I can just tell you right now, if you keep doing what you're doing, keep the mentality you have, keep your attitude. You've been nothing but positive and forward focused. You're going to do awesome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
congratulations
that,
on your
Jeff.
future success.
And likewise.
Yep. And I guess one final thing, if you don't mind, and you could spin this any way you'd like, either a piece of advice for that little girl in the Netherlands who was unsure about living her true life and not doing that, or someone who's older and might be struggling to take that first step and be brave. Any advice to help someone kind
Yeah,
of,
well,
open the door?
actually, you know what I've noticed a lot, Jeff, that people, when they hear about this, they're a little skeptical, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. I was in the beginning a little bit skeptical as well, because people just naturally think it's too good to be true. It's a scam. My biggest advice is to read either The Millionaire Shortcut or Rich Dad Poor Dad, just to help you open that mindset a little bit to be able to take that first step. Because reading is not a scary step at all. That's safe in your living room, right? And then the second one that I would
Yeah,
say
good point.
is
Yep.
focus on being disciplined, because that is the best skill to have. Discipline. With discipline,
Nice.
you can do everything.
Yes. Discipline equals freedom. Yep. People don't understand that, but you're right. There's some of the more hardcore entrepreneurial dudes out there. Jocko and some
Yeah.
of the guys talk about, discipline is freedom. You think discipline is, oh no, I got to get up at X time. No, listen to what I'm telling you guys. Discipline is freedom for your life. Get structured, get a schedule, commit to it. Don't let yourself down. Do the right thing. Think the right thing every day. Take care of yourself, right? If you can do that and then focus on something like Entre and what we're talking about, the sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want. So, Wanda, I got to say, this has been awesome. I will tell you for sure, out of maybe more than anybody, because of the journey that you're on and where you're at right now. But in a few months, maybe 3 to 6 months, I'm going to reconnect with people, see how they're doing, get an
Oh, I would
update,
love
and I'd
to. I
love to
had
have
so
you
much
back on the
fun,
show
Jeff.
if you're cool with that. All right, awesome. That's great to hear. I appreciate your time. Again, this has been awesome. I think it's going to be a ton of value for people who want to do what you've done or what we're going to be doing.
Thanks, Jeff.
So thank you again for being here. It's been awesome.